his one said that Kasure. His one said that Kasure. So we are the ordinary, people, not like that, perfect good and perfect disciple, no. Ordinary, people think you can study, don't have to make connection with good disciple immediately. So when you do the teaching, so you study teacher, but not guru. Like in the university, school, through the years, and then after you started through the years around, then if you really feel devoted to that person from whom you have been learning, you really feel want to follow, much devoted, then you can take as guru. Then you can take it as guru. That is of course, that means. So, of course, in reality, I'm talking as a Mahayana Buddhism. Practicing according to Mahayana Buddhism. So, particularly that. And Mahayana Tantra, Mahayana Buddhism. Of course, it's that is the. This is not mentioned by some. It's not saying that just that the outline, just that what I said. So ordinary beings who do that. So first you check, through the years study, then slowly on to devote to that person. Then you take guru. But however, it still means going to Mahayana, that's the, the essence that they see, essence of essence of numberless Buddha. You see the numberless Buddhas, Dharmakaya, this is numberless Buddhas. Dhammakaya. I think that's very bound with the infinite compassion to you and to you and to all sentient beings. Bound with the infinite compassion, like limited sky, and then embraced to you and to all sentient beings. The Dharmakaya. Then because your mind is not enlightened, not even that, not even free from samsara. Suffering pain and suffering will change. All the samsara pleasure, suffering will change, and then third suffering, previous compound suffering, where the true suffering came. So you're not free even from those sufferings. The mind is totally obscured. Totally obscured. Therefore cannot see cannot see the numberless Buddha, but you don't see the numberless Buddha and the aspect Buddha. First of all, you're not one with him, not enlightened. And the second, you're not even a bodhisattva, where you see Buddha in the samadhi aspect. You're not Aya Bodhisattva. We can see the Buddhas in the samadhi aspect. And you're not ordinary Bodhisattva who achieved who has achieved second part of first part of marriage, Cholam, and the second part of preparation, Jolam, then writing part of meditation, normal, and so part of preparation has Triyatema Saba Chucho, heat, trip, patience, sublime Dharma. So after you achieve sublime Dharma, then you see numberless Buddhas, Nimanaka aspects. So that Bodhisattva who has, this, I think also have 5 clever ones and also many qualities. Many qualities. So already, so the after achieved the fourth one, part of preparation, Sublime Dharma, then you see numberless Buddha in the mental aspect. So you haven't achieved. You haven't achieved even that. So very totally obscure, like the without sun, moon, without stars, and it's totally dark. Then you see foggy. Then foggy, like that you see, mind is so obscured. So, the northern Dharma, ignorance and dark, mind is dark, and then piles of wrong concepts or something. So, as it said, the essence and essential nectar. Yeah. Yeah, the Dharma echo on the text and the beginning part. So until you are liberated from the delusions, karma. And you are liberated from delusion karma. Because Lengen debate da matron. Lengen debate da matron. Sanje malumum dencheng. Tande nawa dinye madaba. Sembe jimbi kujo tongame. In the essential nectar. Until you become liberated from the delusion karma, from this delusion karma, so that's so heavy. Like the example I gave, so heavy, so thick. So the karma obscuration. So heavy, so thick. Then until you become liberated from this, even all the Buddhas came in front of you, even all the Buddhas came in front of you. You have no fortune, good luck. You have no fortune adorned. You have no fortune to see Supreme Holy Body adorned holy signs, exemplifications. There are 32 holy signs, 80 holy exemplifications. So you have no karma to see Supreme Holy Body adorned holy signs, exemplification. This is what the Nirmanakaya form has. So, you don't see, except only the impure appearance, what you see now. Except only the impure appearance, ordinary appearance, you say having delusion, making mistakes. So, except what you see now. What appear to you now? What do you see now? Except this. Otherwise, you don't have an opportunity to see Supreme Holy Body, you don't hold the holy sign exemplification. And then now, the Matoba, Sembe Jimbu, Kuchu, Tonga, Ma, all the team. This is the most important practice, mindfulness that we should have in daily life. Also important. So when that's what we remember. What we are with the Guru, or what we are not with the Guru, physically. To always remember that. Of course, when you have Guru devotion, of course, when you have realization that Guru devotion realization. Realization seen from your side, that's all the Buddha. Of course, when you have realization, stability of mind, realization, then of course, then, yeah, I mean, you have that realization, so different. But until that, you need the mindfulness. Or the Guru, or the Guru, whatever. That is important practice for us. Sorry. Oh dear, sorry. One example. One example, Gelong Lakpa Karma, who served Buddha 22 years, and he looked at the Buddha. From Buddha's side, he was enlightened eons ago, long. But you see, from Lakpa Karma's attendant side, never look at Buddha as Buddha. Never look at the Buddha as Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha as a Buddha. Never look at it. He only look at the ordinary being. Ordinary being having mistakes, and only a liar. All the year, 23 years, he look at Buddha as only ordinary being and a liar. That's what he. Then, because he labeled and that and look at that way, so he's only a liar for 22 years. Even Buddha's side, he wants to go enlightened. All of that. So you see what happens is, he is with Buddha, but couldn't see Buddha. Couldn't see Buddha as Buddha. Sujamani Buddha as Buddha. So ordinary liar. So why that happened is because he was serving Buddha, working with Buddha for alms. So one day Buddha went for alms. So the girl offered a handful of grains. Buddha's being involved. Then Buddha predicted that she will become enlightened. Buddha called Tame. She will become enlightened, Tame Buddha. So Buddha predicted. So the monk Lakpa Karma attendant thought Buddha is flattering. She gave just a handful of grain. The Buddha, makes so high, so much compliment or the flatter her. He thought, flattered her so much. I couldn't believe it. But she gave only one handful of grains in the Buddha's begging bowl. So he thought that the whole his life, he regarded the Buddha as liar. So you only level that and appear on that and see only that. So then the story. is mentioned in the teaching that you see, I don't remember complete, but even you are with Buddha, physically, even you are with Buddha, so only ordinary being, Prince Buddha, only ordinary being, so there was no benefit being with Buddha. I don't remember what comes after that. My mind is so obscure. So that's, you see. So because he mistakes from his side, he educated Buddha. Omniscient one. That's very. So many eons, as a result of that, then so many eons had to be in the hell realm. So they caused like that. It caused like that. Aiva de Cature. So the mentioned de Cature. So now sorry, I went on and on. So sorry. It is the stainless sky, the Sutra of stainless sky, is mentioned that I try to remember slow because my memory is very bad. So. Maybe it may have started like that. They should regard the Guru more precious than the Tathagatas, than all the Tathagatas. May have started there, I'm not sure. But that's what it's saying. Because Tathagatas, all the Buddhas, Tathagatas, Tapkela, Tuje Chekyang, Tapkela, most skillful and great compassion. But Lame Takemena, Sanjay Chile, Dujejula, Jungwinus. If there's no Guru, if the Guru not bring sub-condition, so there's 4 conditions. Dajen, Mikin, condition that could say focus, Mikin, condition of focusing and the image condition, which the cause condition, so the 4 condition, the Dajen sub-condition. So without Guru, so you see, Buddha's holy actions, cannot be received in the heart of sentient beings without Guru, without Gurus being self-conditioned. Lamen Dajen all the Buddhas came from Guru. All the Buddhas came from Guru. So therefore, need to rely on Guru and you see, follow Guru. It's the most precious than all the Tathagatas, all the Buddhas. Or that Nagarjuna mentioned that, and then also Kasuri, the Kanko, Satya Pandita mentioned Satya. Before mentioned Satya Pandita, I mentioned this one Tantra text, Ishitupa lay from Tantra text, Ishitupa, accomplished transcendental wisdom, the Ishitupa lay. Yundan Tamche Rabzojan, Yundan Tamche Rabzoja Lama and Sitraman. Even you completed all the qualities. Even you completed all the qualities. Lama Manda Siddharma. Without Guru, you cannot be liberated from samsara. And then Tamja Rabzoja Lama Manda Siddharma. You cannot be liberated from samsara. That means you see, even you can explain by heart all the Kanjur, more than 100 volumes. Then Tanjur, more than 200 volumes about the yogis and the pandits, their commentary, or more than 200. You can explain by heart all that, even like that. But you see, without Guru, then the Lama Mana Siddharma, if you don't have, you can do even that, but you don't have Guru, but you can then you can never be liberated from samsara. That's without the oarsman, the holder of the oars, the boat alone cannot cross the river. Example that's given. Maybe the example is first after sure. Maybe yeah, that's the example. Like that, all the Buddhas came from Guru. 대신 상계 단지가 라마 달았던 중. 라마 maybe control나 상계 체제 미야메. There is no Buddha. There is no what is called Buddha before the Guru. So I may say, so you see, so our practice is that whether you are with Guru, or whether you are far away, whatever, you have to remember everyday life that when you remember Guru, you have to remember this. All the Buddhas, numberless Buddhas came from this Guru. So how many Guru you have? How many Guru you have? Whether you have one Guru or whether you have 1,000 Guru? How many billion Guru? So you have to think all the numberless Buddhas came from this Guru. So you see, so therefore, so the most important thing in your life is the practice. This is all the Buddha. This Guru, the number of Buddha, then follow the advice. Whatever the Guru says, follow the advice and. Obtain wishes. That's what it said at the end conclusion. So anyway, so to see Satya Pandita mentioned also that Satya Pandita, you see, Nime was raptayans. Even the sunbeam is so hot. Nime was raptayan, Michel never mimics. Without magnifying glass, cannot produce fire. So you see, we have, for example, when we travel, when I was a small child, we were traveling, crossing from Solukhumbu. This side was Namjapasar, this side Solukhumbu. From there I was born. So, because I escaped few times from the monastery to my home, so children time, child time, just to play. There's no other reason. So then my mother very kindly sent me to another part of Sulukhumbu, Rolling. It's more hidden place. The Pamasamba was a hidden place. But people there are not so clever. Generally speaking, that time. Now I don't know. This part of Sri Lanka was more clever people. So anyway, we have to probably 3 days we have to cross all the snows and there's no road, just rocks and the snows and so in the cave we used to have to sleep in the cave. So fire, so you create grass or wood, small wood. So how do I fire is you have the plant. I don't know what it's called in English, but you see, dry, meshed. So you put small one there, then you use the kind of crystal stone, then the iron, usually this, and they put a spark. Put a spark goes on that, then become fire, then smoke comes. So then slowly bigger, then you put a small wood under to make fire, to make food, that. So here, during the sun day, even sun beams so hot, but without a magnifying glass, and they cannot cannot give fire on that. Cannot, I see. So it's meaning that without magnifying glass, sunbeam so hot cannot produce fire. So then, you see, Mesheme by Memijin, Tishin Sangye Chilabjang, Lama Maba Juminu. Like that, without Guru, you can't receive blessings of the Buddha. Without Guru, you can't receive blessings of Buddha. Tishin Sangye Chilabjang, Lama Maba Juminu. Now you listen here. Bande Lama Nyebai, Bande Lama Nyebai, so. Sangha Tantra never do. Listen here. By pleasing the Guru, by pleasing the by pleasing the glorified Guru, Sangha Tantra never do means, the Buddhas will please. If you please the Guru, you please all the Buddhas. You have to understand that point. That's one point to understand in our life. In our life, so if you want quick enlightenment, quickest enlightenment, this you have to remember this. Point. If you want the quickest way to free from samsara, and achieve enlightenment, quickest way, this you have to remember this. So sorry. So, for example, you see, even you didn't inform the Guru what you're doing, but you dream. The Guru is so pleased, so happy to you, very so pleased and so happy, or giving present to you. So then you may didn't report the Guru what you're doing. So the action at the retreat or some very powerful virtuous action done, or something helping something being, I don't know what about it. You see, very powerful virtuous action done. Purification, you see, quite something. So even you didn't report the Guru, but you dream the Guru is so happy with you, so pleased with you. Okay? So that is a sign. That is a sign that all the Buddhas are happy with you. Because this aspect of Guru is the one that you have karmic connection. So all the Buddhas happy, showing all the Buddhas happy with you. Then through this ordinary aspect, this Guru, there is connection. So that. Gonjo sombo chigdewe lama chela da jebchis. Sajabendida. Gonjo sombo chigdewe lama chela da jebchis. I go for refuge to the Guru, who is embodied all the sublime, all the three Gonjo Sumbo, three rare precious one, Buddha Dhamma Sangha, three rare precious one, Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Embodied all three rare precious one, Buddha Dhamma Sangha. To you, the Guru, I go for refuge. Such a benefit. This quotation, very, very rich quotation. Like that. Then also you see, just mentioned. Now we can finish it. Okay? So the most important one, in the calling the Guru from far, the most clear one. Sanje Kunji Yeshe. Dechen Chugu Rojik. Tenye Tinjen Lama. Kunje Rangshen Tatu. Lama Chuju Gola. Inne Soa Deso. Deje Patu Kundamis. Ode, sorry. Kasore. Sanjo Kunji Yeshe. So all the Buddha's transcendental wisdom, one essence in the great bliss, Dhammakaya. In the great bliss, one taste in one taste in the great bliss, Dhammakaya. That is the Guru. You see? So now you want to know what is it? Guru. You know. Now what is that? What is the real meaning? That. You see, deep taste of that. And the other that, Sanjo Kunji Yeshe Dechen Chugu Roji. Tinje Lama. So that is the Guru. That is the kind of Guru. Tinje Lama. That itself. That itself is the kind of Guru. Tinje Lama. Kunje Rangshen Tatu. Essence of all the Buddha. Kunje Rangshen Tatu. So that is the, there is Nejo Tara, there is the Mithya Buddha, the Buddhism, Buddha Mantushi, but I mean, all the Buddhas, you know, numberless Buddha, the essence of all Buddha, the Rangshen Tatu. Lama Chujikola, Chuyu the Dhamma Kaya, Lama Chujikola, the Guru Dhammakaya, from the heart. Lama Chujikola, I made the request. So on, from the heart, I made the request. Lama Chujikola, so on, that's what. Tijipatukundu, Dhamma Jetsu Sungsi, to guide me, this life, next life, in the intermediate stage, all the time. That means all the time means until you achieve enlightenment. All the time means, you see, and you see, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, your question, guide me. God means you have to understand what meaning. God means bring you to enlightenment. See what for example, what my guru said, achieved. You see, them bring me there. God, that you see, all like that. So this is the same thing as Lama Choba, Chuna Lama, Chuna Yidin, Chuna Kandu Suyong, Tennesunda, Janjaba, the Chimney, Jepson, Mr. Zamba, the Chimney, or the Kasuri, or that the chance to tax my time. So all that request and this exactly the same. So this is even we are dying now, even there's only 1 hour or 5 minutes, only 1 minute left of your breath, and this is what you request. This is the most important prayer to request the Guru. That's you see the when you explain the Kasure, how to correctly follow the virtue friend. So you see. Well, I think when I don't know properly cases or when they feel uncomfortable to explain. So it's like saying, it's like advertising others, I'm Buddha. It's like advertising to others, I'm Buddha. Because you teach, so it's like sort of saying like that, you see. So I think many others feel uncomfortable to explain to talk about a beginning subject or Lamrim. Most important subject in our life practice. Because if that is there, correctly following word friend, and then from there up to enlightenment, you achieve all that benefit. Up to enlightenment, all the realizations. Then you free the numberless, and every numberless helping hunger gods, animals, human, everyone you free from samsara, oceans of samsara suffering and causes. Then you bring everyone to the peerless happiness, the Buddhahood, you see? So that happens. So if this correct following virtue friend, the root of the path to enlightenment is not there, then all the rest doesn't happen. You are achieving enlightenment, or the free, the numberless sentiments from the oceans of samsara doesn't happen. Then bringing them to the peerless happiness, Buddha, doesn't happen. All like that. So. So you see, and maybe some of sanghas, which is Dhamma, don't know exactly. It sounds like you just make it up. It sounds like the Tibetan Lamas. not from Buddha, not from India, Pandit. Oh, Tibetan Lamas, their own trick. Tibetan Lamas, like Lamism, so about Western, the beginning Western people, they wrote book Lamism, so like it's often says that's wrong. So the Tibetan Lamas made up for them, sort of that, you see. So some doesn't know exactly what which is Dharma to Western people, students. So some don't believe this subject, and so like that, you see. Even there are some smart of teaching to Western people, but themselves maybe don't believe that or something, you see. So they're different like that. However, you see, what about if you don't introduce the fire to the baby, to the child, to the children? You don't introduce the fire. What fire can burn? If you want the fire, can burn you, can kill you. You die. Burn your body. It'll kill you. You have to teach, to not run in the fire. So you have to teach to protect the child from the fire. You understand? Also, all the benefits of fire, you can use to make food, many benefits of fire, if you use the correct way. So many benefits. So you see, you have to teach. Without explaining, then so you destroy yourself. But that's just an example. That's just this one life body. You burn and you die. That's your life. Just separate the mind from this body. That's one life. But the other one, you destroy by damaging this life. You damage 100,000 millions of lives. Or damage, damage. So you don't see Guru in your whole life. Even you don't see Guru. You don't find Guru. Even there's a Guru in the world, but you don't find Guru. So your comment is like that. For example, Westerners, they come to America, far away with a lot of expenses to come to listen to teaching Dharamsala. He's going to live in Dharamsala. But Indians, people living there, do not come. Now more Indians come now. Only now more Indians come. But in the past, so many people, Indian people, they don't come for the teachings. But Westerners, all the way from lot crossing the ocean, they come. You understand? Oh, like that, you see. Indians, they don't come. Oh, like that. Good example there. There's now more Indians come from all over now. Even Tushit, of course, 25 Indian people. Then this, of course, the next one, again 25 people, something around. Oh, many, now different. That I can give you an example. So, many even you don't meet Guru, you don't find Guru. All of they don't know what your teachings like that. So they have to break it. So I have to be very careful. This is the most important practice. It's so most important. So that you see. So many people, bodhicitta, or something, you see. One thing, Guru is, and then suffering the Lord, suffering sometimes not much, and then bodhicitta only about something nice, But of course, you won't have bodhicitta realization without renunciation, impossible, no way. So no way, bodhicitta, if you don't have realization, renunciation of samsara. You see, as long as you feel being in the samsara is like being in the prison, like being in the fire, like being in the net bushes. Your naked body inside, in the net, thorn bushes. Your naked body inside, wrapped. You see, until I mean that's the example, but much more than that. Your own suffering, no renunciation. You see, your own suffering, your own sometimes good, something pleasure. There's no way to renunciation, no way to bodhicitta, not extra bodhicitta, realization, no way, just between lips. Just all of that. So people are, only what you like, meditate what you don't like. Put in the garbage can. Put in the garbage can in the road. So thank you very much. So anyway, see, you see, you need to explain the compassion. Or just like example, simple example, I have to explain. There are many things, not the fire, but there are many things. Danger, have to explain, sure, to protect life of the child. Then those are some, see. With the compassion, you have to explain this. To say danger and the benefit. Great, most danger, sure, and also greatest benefit. Greatest benefit of sit. You understand? All like that. Okay, thank you very much. Now we finish.